Hello and welcome to AEW.1, the AEW Women's Division blog. My name is Travis. You can read more of our articles at AEW.1. Hit me up on Twitter at AEW_1. That's ONE. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel. It makes us feel too sweet. All right, let's get into it. So this is an audio version of an article we have up online on AEW.1 called Tony Khan Sets the Bar. If you'd prefer to read it, you can read it there. The Go Home Dynamite show before AEW Revolution was Sting's final Dynamite ever as a wrestler. And as wrestling fans, we were treated to the biggest nostalgia dopamine hit AEW ever could have delivered to us when Sting, for the last time, rappelled from the rafters down to the floor. I thought Tranquilo Club nailed this feeling on Twitter with a gif from Ratatouille, where the cynical Anton Ego is transported back to his childhood after taking that first bite of Ratatouille. Feeling restored indeed. And after Dynamite had ended, my mind couldn't help but go to thinking about Owen Hart. And naturally, with Martha Hart being a part of AEW with the Owen Hart tournament, I wondered how she felt about all this. As it turned out, as reported by Sean Ross Sapp, Tony Khan had called Martha beforehand to seek out her blessing before doing the stunt, and Martha had granted it. Just as a quick aside, one of the things I like about Fightful Select, is that when there's something in wrestling that doesn't pass my sniff test, or there's just something that piques my curiosity, Sean Ross Sapp is usually on the case, seeking out that exact answer. Now, I'll hear out the argument that rappelling from the ceiling is a Sting trademark. In fact, the whole idea for Owen Hart as the Blue Blazer, rappelling down from the rafters, was to be a dig at Sting. But when you're talking about the sanctity of the memory of a fallen legend like Owen Hart, that does not matter. I say all this just to point out that Tony Khan does not have to do any of this. And even though it may seem like common decency to you and I, professional wrestling has shown us time and time again its terrible reputation on simply being able to treat people and situations with dignity and respect. And as we've learned in recent times, it's worse than we ever knew. For anyone to clear the bar that wrestling has set, they only need take a step forward because the bar, quite frankly, is in hell. So Tony Khan doing something as classy as this is something I think people need to shine a light on to set a new bar, a new, better expectations for the pro wrestling industry. On that note, with all the podcasters and aggregators on YouTube constantly taking shots at Tony Khan and finding the least flattering pictures of him for their thumbnails, I didn't see a single one of these Muppets make a thumbnail about this story. Maybe they hit it 12 minutes into a video as a footnote, but they certainly weren't going out of their way to let it be known. This to me says that it's up to us as fans to demand better from pro wrestling and demand better from the sources who write and talk about pro wrestling. That's all for now. Thanks for listening, and as always, remember to let the women in your life know how much you appreciate them.